So we worked on automating the workflows, allowed scaling and export of multiple models to build multi-model consensus, because we recognized that the malaria models of the state of Odisha may be different in the state of Bihar, in the state of Maharashtra, in the northeastern region of the country. Venkatesh, my internet connection shows unstable. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. But it is adjustable.
You are audible.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. The third issue that remains a challenge is the data literacy among public health managers. The district vector-borne disease control officers at the district level are not trained to apply complex research outputs into daily decision making. So as I mentioned, we needed to build the capacity of the public health managers at the district level as well as at the state level, and also provide them a decision tool which is understandable at different levels. And finally, another major challenge was integrating the different data sources. To obviate this particular issue of data sharing, in collaboration with the India Meteorological Department and India Council of Medical Research, we convened the Interagency Expert Committee for Malaria and Climate. This particular committee enabled data sharing, or rather seamless data sharing between the health sector and the climate sector, which becomes a huge success, which remains intangible till date, but yet a driving factor to enable similar solutions in other areas. Now, while this particular solution was essential to enable decision-making and forecasting, we also recognized the challenge of reporting. As the country has enabled integrated health information platform and the piloting is currently going on in multiple states, it is focusing on improved timeliness of reporting and improved accuracy of reporting. But we understood that there is currently no platform for malaria reporting in the private sector. We also recognized that at the grassroots level or at the ground level, no mHealth technology has been applied so far to enable real-time reporting and decision-making by the health workers. To achieve that, we identified the need of over 20 additional features that includes user profiling, recommender systems for case management, intelligent chatbot for health workers capacity building, geolocation and geofencing to target interventions at micro level, worker profiling for performance monitoring, and alert and notification system for real-time reporting. This particular technology, alongside the backend malaria prediction and planning toolkit, following its pilot, was launched by the Honorable Health Minister of the Government of Odisha and the Director General of Meteorology of India Meteorological Department, along with the officials from the National Center for Vector-Borne Disease Control on 8th March 2022 in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. And we are planning to export this particular solution across the country and also outside the country. So this year we have launched the Institute for Malaria and Climate Solutions, which Venkatesh just mentioned during his introduction. And through this institute, we will be providing this particular solution. Right now, we recognize 3 areas of support that the countries that are focusing on malaria elimination need. The first one is innovation and original research. Somehow this has got dampened in the past several years because we don't see many innovations in the field of malaria. And the innovations that come in force in terms of malaria vaccine and newer drugs, they have their own life cycles and they will take their own time to come into the country's program pipeline. Currently, these tools are not available to even supplement any current intervention for malaria elimination in the country. So to develop and refine cutting-edge technologies which does not have or does not require that lead time, we are focusing on such innovations. The second element is to assess the impact of different decision tools and forecasting models for better prediction and planning, and evaluating the processes, because in each of these areas, each of the geographies, the implementation of malaria program happens through different agencies and through different mechanisms. So adoption of this particular solution will require a lot of work. The second area of work is networking and knowledge dissemination. So far, we have convened researchers from 30 different countries who are facilitating exchanges and shaping the research agenda and innovation agenda for malaria elimination. And we are also building implementation support for all the countries focusing on malaria elimination, building tailored solution and ensuring access to sophisticated global data sources, tools and technologies, as well as expertise. Will not talk much about this, but we have a robust scientific advisory board to support this initiative. And this is the map of the network of experts who are coming from various parts of the world to provide inputs in this particular solution. The vision is to enable better collaboration and formalization of multidisciplinary field of work. This year, we will also host a global scientific conference to promote solutions that are happening in this particular area of work so that the conventional anti-malarial interventions become climate proof, and that becomes a use case for other health problems in the country and across the globe. Now, to understand the current practices, we will run a global survey of national malaria control programs in Q2 of this year, which will focus to understand the knowledge and attitude regarding climate's impact on malaria, the existing models and systems, quality and availability of data sources and domestic technical capacities. We are preparing for exporting and adaptation of these toolkits in another Asian country, Indonesia, and another country in Sahel, Senegal, starting this year. Now, despite this particular solution, we felt that there are numerous unresolved challenges. What this particular solution will not enable is the private sector reporting issue. Currently, the health management information system of malaria program primarily reports public sector data on reported malaria cases. However, although 32 states have made malaria notifiable, private sector reporting in malaria is very limited. So I urge to the Indian Medical Association to take this initiative to enable malaria notification across the country, and we will be happy to support you to provide a platform to the private practitioners to fulfill this gap. The second issue is real-time notification. While the country has moved to integrated health information platform, due to the unavailability of mobile devices with the ASHAs and the frontline workers, malaria case notification is not real time. But despite this particular challenge, and despite the problem that to enable real-time reporting, India will need similar number of devices as that of the number of Ashas in the country. That means almost 1 million, which is not in sync with the budget of malaria programming, but has to be taken up under the National Health Mission in sync with the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. The third piece of challenge that we see is the urgent need of more sensitive diagnostics. Currently, India relies on microscopy and conventional rapid diagnostic tests for malaria diagnosis, but in several different private hospitals, especially super specialty hospitals, advanced technologies such as polymerase chain reaction are being used globally. Ultra-sensitive RDTs have already been WHO pre-qualified for use in malaria endemic countries. So such solutions are needed to be adopted within the national program, but also in the private sector. At the same time, I also urge the Indian Medical Association to look into the quality of malaria diagnosis that is happening at the private sector, especially in different laboratories. The fourth challenge is related to pharmacovigilance. While more than 30% of India's malaria cases are due to Plasmodium vivax infection that requires long-term treatment, that is 14-day treatment with primaquine, which we call radical treatment. There is a compliance issue and there is a challenge related to the side effect or adverse effect in G6PD deficient individuals. So there is an opportunity for Indian Medical Association to advocate to strengthen pharmacovigilance and also communicate to the large pool of patients that are reporting to the private doctors to improve compliance to radical treatment. And I also invite the India Medical Association to collaborate in the foundational work of these forecasting and refining models to climate-proof anti-malarial interventions. And all the postgraduate and doctoral students who have joined this particular initiative from various different universities to focus on malaria-related projects where you could support malaria elimination through the endgame period of next 5 years that would eventually accelerate India's progress to malaria elimination. With this, I thank you all, and over to you, Venkatesh and Anirban. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Open to any questions, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sharkar. So it's really a nice deliberation.